Today, I found out during the going online screen that we have no viruses on the main computer. That was what that little blip was. It was like, virus check complete.
Oh.
I was like, why were you doing that right then?
I didn't.
But anyway.
Sounds like it's trying to show that it's doing work. Like, you ever like have a job where you need to kind of just look like you're busy?
Yeah. It's like, yeah. So you're saying
kind of like cleaning a table for like the 5th time because there's nothing really to do, but you're like, I gotta like, if I don't look like I'm doing something, they're gonna say something, and then we're gonna have that conversation again where I still end up wrong even though I'm right.
I should use that here.
You're gonna clean a table for the 5th time?
Yeah, maybe just that. Maybe when I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna go clean a table until something changes, something locks in my brain in a different way. Be like, I'm just gonna go clean this table. Look, I already made a mess. I could clean this table.
I did bully a manager once into letting me go home early because there was nothing to do, to the point where I just kept coming and asking them over and over for new things to do until they were like, fine, you can leave. Mm-hmm. And I got out just before the lunch rush started.
nice.
That was the aim, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Beej, I would say though that if you're like, it's like, well, I guess I'll clean this table, doing this like make work project, clean this table that I messed up.
Yeah. Yeah. It's true.
If the table is dirty, that's not a make work project. That's an actual thing that should be done.
It's true. Yeah.
I mean, I've definitely refolded the same pile of t-shirts for the 6th time.
That's great. If you've there's an SNL sketch where that they did like a couple of it was a recurring thing they did where there's like they play like two very two guys working in this like super high-end clothing store that are big assholes. But as part of it, they're supposed to be like folding clothes. And you see over the course of the sketch, they're both just folding one shirt over and over and over again.
Now that reminds me a lot of David Spade and Chris Farley playing two girls working at the Gap, where they were folding clothes and doing that kind of thing, but they weren't folding the same thing over and over, were they?
Yeah. I mean, maybe.
Is that the same thing you were talking about?
Now, a pile of t-shirts will get messed up repeatedly over the course of the day.
That's true.
That is a thing you really do actually have to do over and over. But there is a point where it's just slow, and generally in those stores, you're not like allowed to read a book or do anything else.
No.
So you just refold like a t-shirt out of
Because
boredom.
if you don't do that, if you have a lot of time and you don't do that, you're just going to learn how to hack into the cashier's computers so you can actually adjust everybody's hours to keep the managers from adjusting them down.
Yeah, I mean, I did that.
My
but
wife
they left
was Robin Hood.
They left the password in the drawer.
Yeah.
It was very easy to find.
She was like, I'm just going to
Who's
go
really
in here
hacking?
and adjust everybody's hours back up to what they actually worked from what the GM kept thinking that they should actually be at. I'll just kind of bring them back up to where they should be.
I just wanted to get paid so I could pay rent. Mm-hmm. Everyone else happened to benefit.
That's awesome. But maybe we shouldn't be admitting to certain things.
Oh, they're not. They're not in business.
That company's no longer in business anymore.
They went
all right,
bankrupt.
cool. Because they
not
were
for
paying
me.
too much money to people.
No, because they weren't paying money to anyone.
Anyway, hey everybody. Welcome to ChillPoint, the show where we talk about the week's video game news, as well as the episode of Checkpoint just went up, and possible felonies that we previously did for companies that aren't working
Is it a felony to make sure that somebody else's work is being done properly?
Yeah, you counteracted wage theft. That's a felony.
Yeah. I know, I don't think that is.
Pretty sure I didn't commit any felony there.
Illegally accessing a computer might be, but I don't know.
Well, technically, the computer was also what they used the cash register for.
She was on it all the time for
I was
good
on it
reason.
all the time, so I wasn't illegally
fine to access
accessing
it, yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
The is the first people who got who were prosecuted for hacking.
Yeah.
Because the problem was that there weren't any actual laws that they could find to prosecute them under. They hadn't actually. There was no sort of framework developed that said what they were. It's like, we know what you did was illegal.
Yep. But we don't have a law that
But we
says
don't
you're
have a
not
law.
allowed to do
and
it.
so the first people who were prosecuted for hacking were actually prosecuted for electricity theft.
Yeah.
I mean, didn't they used to go after mobsters for tax evasion because that's what they could get them on?
Yeah, they got Al Capone on tax evasion.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, it's like no matter what you do, even if you're making your money by an illegal means, it's like you still have to tell the government. It's like, I brought in this much money this year.
Yeah.
So yeah, they also would hit people for wire fraud. And,
Right. Well, if you
yeah.
did, if you did any part of your thing with the mail, then they could get you. Because then it's serious, I guess. Anyway, let's talk about the episode of ChillPoint, which this week we started with some quick points. Trying out, where
Yeah.
we enjoyed doing the quick points. We were like, hey, how about we start with those?
It was weird.
Yeah.
I mean, not bad. Just it felt weird to be like editing the episode, being like, quick points. The episode's almost done.
Yeah. First thing this time. Yeah.
It's not.
No.
Starting with talking about that Nintendo America suing the U.S. Treasury Department and various other people for the tariff stuff, which, again, this is one of those stories that is actually a much larger story, but we have a video game lens into it. And I feel like, because this was a quick point, maybe some aspects of it people weren't quite made clear, but Nintendo is not the only one suing. There's like literally thousands of companies.
Probably everybody who can.
Yeah.
And should, really.
Yeah.
Not because they necessarily want them to have money, just that should be punished somehow. I did see a couple people who were like, I don't know how to feel because this company versus this company, that kind of thing. And let me tell you about the miraculous third option that exists. You don't have to have an opinion or care.
There doesn't have to be a good person and a bad person.
You don't. When I watch a sport, I don't have to care about either team. I just have to know the sport exists. This is a thing you can know that exists. You don't have to cheer for anyone.
And yes, it's also true that I don't think anybody anticipates that any of these companies that are suing the government will in any way pass those savings back down to the consumer.
Not likely.
I'm not sure how they'll even figure that out, but unless
How they would figure that out, yeah.
it would be interesting if it would be interesting to find out if then people are like, all right, so now the rash of civil class actions where it's like, hey, did you buy bread between this date and this date? Well, guess what? You're owed $20 from Loblaws, like that kind of horseshit.
Except, I mean, to me, the thing is, it's like there's the
Prove you bought it.
well, it's also that it's like it's not like they lied about the price.
No.
The price was very clear, and the reason why they raised it was
Also very clear.
very clear.
Yeah.
So the company, as far as I can tell, the companies didn't do anything wrong.
No.
So they're probably not liable for anything.
Yeah, but if they followed the law, then it's kind of like, and you followed the law. I do think it stands to reason. It's like I'm still out $18 of my $700 or whatever because of taxes, and it's because of illegal taxes. It's like I can't sue the government, but the company sues the government to get their money back, and they get the money back. It's like I should be able to turn around and say, well, that's my money. You just you illegally took my tax dollars from somebody else.
Yeah.
So I do want to see that. I want to see if there will be a firm or a few out there be like, actually, we've decided that we're going to do this and see how far they can get. Because I would like to. It feels like justice.
Because like if it could be tracked, obviously the best scenario would be the government paying that back the people directly, but obviously tracking that wouldn't be so good.
See, like with a game console, you would know, right? Because it's like, I bought this thing. I've had this thing since it came out at launch, and the price was artificially high because of the tariff. So it's like I own this console. You saw me start it on the day, like you saw me like start it up and add my thing to it or whatever. You have a record of me. You have a record of me that shows and it can be backed up. That's like, this is when I got this thing and I started up and here it is. So then it's like, ambassador program. Like, I mean, that's the thing that I think is like, that's what happened with the 3DS,
Yeah.
where they were I'm explaining this thing for the benefit of the audience.
Okay, but you pointed at me, so I just...
That's what happened to you with the ambassador program.
Okay.
Is that you paid more money for your 3DS than because they ended up dropping the price in 6 months. Different thing
reasoning,
here.
yeah.
But then they turned around and said, "Oh, we're just going to give everybody who bought a 3DS early a chunk of free games and content and stuff." And I'm like, I could totally see Nintendo for the Switch 2 being like, we're going to give everybody a $25 voucher at our store or some shit like that.
It's certainly a lot
They
easier
didn't
than
up the price of the Switch 2, though.
No, I know. But like in cases like that, I would see them doing something along that line. I don't know who's going to actually be caught out by this that has that kind of very tight control over who bought what at what time.
So like the thing I think is it's okay, sure, let's put aside the whole like somebody else took my money that I didn't know that they were maybe going to take and not get back attitude, and go with the fact that a lot of things did go up in price. They didn't necessarily say it was because of tariffs, but we all know it was because of tariffs.
Yeah.
Those prices aren't going to come back down.
No.
Right? Every time we have a video game go up in price here because the dollar changes,
it's funny.
they never lower the price.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny how the price doesn't go down when the dollar changes again down.
Yeah. I know that's happened like I think one time with the way back in the day with the iPad, is that when the dollar was more at par for a longer time, when they released the iPad, they released it at a lower price than what the previous iPad was at, like in terms of
but that's
exchange.
actually a different product.
Exactly.
That's a different situation than the same product getting cheaper.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
It's like, well, it's the same price in the States for the brand new thing as it was for the old thing, but here the new thing was cheaper at retail, and it was about 6 months before they actually changed it. I'm like, that's probably due to what they imported it at and what their margins were at. And they were like, and now we've run out of stuff in the channel, so all the new stuff coming in is going to go through an increase in price somehow.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to see the consoles that went up in price to come back down, partially because it was really weird to watch Xbox and PlayStation and stuff be like, hey, our stuff's been out for a while. Now it's more expensive.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's not just tariffs, right?
Yeah.
Right.
There's computer parts and other stuff going on.
Just as the tariffs are possibly going away now, RAM and hard drives and everything are more expensive.
So it's not. I don't
artificially
really
more
expect
expensive.
Not artificially.
I mean, there
is a very
artificial
strong,
intelligently.
There's a very strong actual market push that makes it. It's not like somebody's hoarding them.
No.
I mean, they're hoarding them.
Yes.
But it's not the company hoarding them.
No, it's not the company. It's the other companies hoarding them.
And they're not hoarding them in order to drive the price up.
Yeah, and they're not. They
are ostensibly using them for a stupid reason.
Yes.
But they are still using
Except
them.
they're not using them because they don't exist yet, and because they don't have the places to use them yet. And so all they've done is they've driven up futures, is what they've done. They've basically said, I will gladly pay you $1 million for a hard drive today. That you give me on Tuesday, and it's Tuesday hasn't fucking arrived yet.
I find it really weird because it's like stuff that's like new and like current has generally gone up in price due to stuff.
Yeah.
During lockdown, everything that was retro skyrocketed in price as well because people started taking up hobbies of like fixing older things or just getting older video games, and so it's just like gaming sucks as a hobby.
Yeah.
It's just expensive.
Speaking of things that suck as a hobby, I don't know. The Hideki Kamiya. Hideki Kamiya?
Hideki Kamiya.
Kamiya.
Yeah.
Who
works for Capcom.
I was basically right.
Yep.
Posted about how he wishes Resident Evil. He says like Resident Evil 9 is a really great game. I had to stop playing it because it was giving me nightmares.
Right.
Neat.
And he was like, could there possibly be a not scary? I mean, he was sort of tongue in cheek, but
yeah, sure.
It's like, could there be like a not scary version where like the zombies get cute and bugs and blood splatters are cherry blossom petals, and the music becomes upbeat, feel good kind of tune. And he's saying like the battles and the puzzles and stuff are really cool, but it's too scary.
Does anybody know the name of the game back in? I have to assume this is like PS2 era. Maybe like I don't know if it ever was a GameCube game or whatever it was, but there was a game a long time ago that subbed out blood for cherry blossom petals. I swear this happened.
For cherry blossom.
It feels like a very like anime thing.
Yeah, and
The whole like you get the fight in the cherry blossom
sounds
orchard,
like,
and then he goes like, whoo,
it's gonna be
like
it's gonna be like a freaking like
very
Toho
stylist.
fan game or something. So I don't know, but there was something that Serious Sam did with Flowers and Fruits. Yeah, like there's something like I know they've done the thing where they put like the arachnophobia modes where it's like
Right, yeah.
we change out the spiders to be like little blocks or like something else that's not a spider.
You
It's
also
like,
see like sometimes animation when it gets put into different regions will sub out blood or like it'll change the color of blood or like change some stuff around because of the different laws.
yeah. I mean, Mortal Kombat famously just desaturated all the blood, so people were just like, my spit.
I definitely saw some examples a while ago that someone had posted about the color of blood being changed to white in some animes in different regions and how much worse it made the show look because it just looked like people were covered in other bodily fluids.
yes,
That's true. Yeah, you got to be a little bit careful how you're using it.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I obviously know why this probably doesn't work for a lot of reasons. But it's a fun idea.
Oh, yeah.
And to be honest, like Resident Evil, probably not. But I could see, especially like I don't know, like a more sort of indie horror title doing this. Or this could I could definitely see this as like one of those like April Fools but actually doing it things.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I mean, I'd be for a non-scary version of scary games because generally that's what stops me from playing most of them. At the same time, like you have to really make sure like you're basically making almost another game because if you don't change out a lot of elements but you just change out the visuals, right, then you get Doki Doki Literature Club. Your scary factor is the mismatch of visuals with sounds and stuff.
Like being jump scared by a smiley face is just as bad, if not worse.
Yeah. It's a different kind of horror.
Right.
This is a PC game though, so there will be mods.
In fact, there have been.
Yeah.
Apparently, the big thing, or somebody on the our checkpoint tips line from our mods, somebody posted about how there are a bunch of mods to Leon's car. Because he's got like a super cool car that he drives in. And so people keep replacing it with different things, like a hamburger car.
Good.
Or different other things.
I like that.
Like
I
the
thought you were
Oscar
gonna
Mayer Wienermobile.
I've already seen the ones where it's like, oh, we gave Leon a tramp stamp, like all sorts of stuff,
Oh, sure.
Yeah, there's lots of those, but
Yeah. Yeah. The Resident Evil Requiem fans keep modding Leon's Porsche.
I mean, we
it's a
should
good car.
We should show the.
That's a good car.
Yeah.
Like.
That is not what I pictured when I pictured hamburger car. I don't know why.
I mean, I pictured something bigger.
I thought I took like a cool car, but I gave it all like it kind of looked like a hamburger was like stretched and wrapped around it, and then like it was a convertible, so then the top bun came off the thing and tucked itself back. I was like, that's just an open face sandwich car now, Leon.
You had a very elaborate plan.
Yeah, I was doing a lot of work there.
Wait, I want to see this.
Hang on one second, folks. Oh, that's good. I like that.
I like
Somebody
that.
just gave him a scooter.
That's pretty good.
Sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, do a kickflip. I don't know if you can kickflip.
Somebody else.
Wheelchair, good.
Yeah,
Ooh.
yeah.
It's also pretty good.
So yeah.
We should definitely have more games where people just run around on scooters. The little scoots.
What? There's got to be some games where people run around on scooters.
that aren't like just skateboarding games.
But anyway, yeah, that's the great thing about.
Maybe GTA 6. Everybody can run, can just scooters.
Yeah,
Little.
I bet there's scooters in GTA at some point. Let's see what else we got going on here. Oh yeah, the Valve is being sued by the state of New York about loot boxes.
Yeah.
Oh right.
This is back into the like, you know, are loot boxes gambling stuff, which has been
Yes.
sort of in various stages of debate for quite a long time now.
Mm-hmm.
And Valve's response, which is one of those like I agree with, but also, you know,
Do you see how?
Yeah, saying generations have grown up opening baseball cards in blind boxes and then trading and selling them. So it's like when we're just, and it, you know, they're saying like we're just basically doing that, which I think is true.
That is true. That is exactly
so-
what they're doing.
And so it's like, and I've said this before, but like in terms of legislating loot boxes as a you know, as a form of gambling, I can't, unless you just say digital is bad and physical is good. I can't see a definition of loot boxes that doesn't also incorporate blind box toys and you know, magic card packs and Pokemon packs and baseball cards and
Absolutely.
all that stuff. To me, they like, and so now the thing with loot boxes is they're obviously, because they're digital, they're easier to acquire.
Yep.
And they're sort of, so if it's like, is that enough
There's a.
to make it a whole, to put it into a different category?
I mean,
don't
people
know.
will end up having a conversation about the question of utility, right? Where you're like, how useful is the thing that you are getting? Because for loot box, it's like, well, does this open up new things that make the game that do things to modify or alter the game in a way that makes it easier for you to win the game, right? Like that kind of idea, like getting a 5-star character.
Right, are they
right?
cosmetics or are they?
Yeah, the cosmetics are the actually useful thing. Is that you get a better sword or a better gun because you opened up a loot box. It's like, so then the question is on utility at that point. It's like, well, if you're getting a thing that actually enhances the game in a way that that does that, then that's that whole pay to win scenario, and it's like, well, is that an intrinsic part of the game? So you can come out of that by saying buying a pack of hockey cards versus buying a pack of magic cards is a similar thing, but you get into the question of utility, because if I have a pack of hockey cards, all I do is I open them up and I like, oh cool, Luc Robitaille, and then I put that in my thing and I'm filling out my collection, right? But every one of these cards, if you don't know anything about hockey, even when you were doing it, it was like all of these players are the same as any other player in the thing, and then somebody one day tells you that, oh, that Sergei Fedorov rookie card is actually worth $50. You're like, holy shit, that's amazing that I own 3 of these things, right? I had no idea. And why is it like that? Because he's a great player? I don't know. Is there less of them? It's not clear to me why. It's just told me the thing. But on the other hand, Magic has utility, because it's like, if I open a pack of Magic cards and I shuffle all the way to the rare and it's a mythic of some sort that's very useful, it's like, you need a better thing to play the game with. And so that becomes the question of, when you're buying the things and having a reduced number of, or having a rarity built into that, it's like, how is that the gambling? Like how do you think of this as a gambling thing? Well, because this thing has more value. We always end up attributing it to, like, because all gambling stuff seems to be built around the value that you extract from the enterprise of taking a risk. And I wonder about that, because I think all of it would be great if I knew that when I bought a pack of hockey cards, that there would always be a foil or a hologram in it, right? That is like, no matter what, you open it up, you're going to get like a really cool card in it. And that's your rare, right? That's your thing that justifies that, to be like, I know no matter what, I'm going to open something and it's going to have X thing in it. That's going to be a really neat thing to have. And some hockey card companies, I think, have even done that for times.
I think if you have any object that has more value because you don't know what's in it, that's gambling.
It's fair.
That's an interesting way to look at it too. Before you open it,
Like,
this
if I
thing
have
has
a
more
pack
value.
of anything
Yeah.
that could be anything, and you're going to pay me money on it because it could be anything.
Surprise mechanics.
Right, because we do that with Crack-A-Pack.
Yeah,
Crack
sure.
a pack. I'm talking even just a shoebox where I've told you
sure.
anything could be in this shoebox.
Yeah.
That's
it is,
gambling.
It is effectively gambling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's lucky bags.
Yeah.
That's stuff that you, like a mystery bag that you buy at a store or something.
Yes.
Or blind box or whatever.
Yeah, and blind box is the same way. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
At the point where if I open this thing, it loses value because now you know what's in it.
right.
I think that's just gambling right there.
Yeah.
And it's I mean, one of the distinctions that gets made often is if it can be turned into money,
Right.
then that sort of puts it at a different level, which I think I probably agree with.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they argue that for the digital stuff because a lot of the time when you're buying, like, if you buy physical Magic cards, you can resell those on a secondary market that the companies refuse to acknowledge.
Right.
Right.
But they certainly.
But you can, and you can acquire other cards that way if you're trying to build certain decks instead of having to go through and purchase your loot boxes there. But if you're buying stuff online, there's generally no way to cash out. And that's usually their argument of why it's not gambling, right? Because you're not putting in money and getting money out.
Right.
Except at that point,
Often
it's just
there-
like,
often
but
there
that's
are
what you
ways.
want, right? That
Yeah.
you want me to just constantly be putting money in.
Yeah, it's ironic that it's considered less exploitive if you, if you can't take your money out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in some ways, it makes sense.
There are games that do loot box mechanics, or at least used to, that didn't have anything to do with money because they were like single player, whatever. So we call it RNG. They're
That's
boxes
true.
that have whatever, and those are fun. They
Right.
can be. They can be grindy and
I mean-
weird too, but like they have kind of a. You're trying to put more time in to see if you can get other things.
Yeah, like or like like Yoshi's Crafted World literally has like a
Oh yeah,
machine.
For the
like
costumes,
you
yeah.
put coins in, you get stuff out, but you can't buy coins. There's no it's just an in-game mechanic. There's
yeah.
no actual.
The Kirby game,
Forbidden.
Forgotten Land.
Forgotten Land. Sorry.
had a bunch of machines that
Yeah.
you were popping things out. But it also had stuff that you knew you could go get by doing challenges and whatnot.
Yeah.
So something that's actually related to this, that's a story that didn't make it into Checkpoint, or that's actually or a new thing, is that Peggy, the European
Game rating
board,
Yeah.
just released a bunch of new sort of guidelines or not designations, but like new things that will sort of put you into different categories.
Okay.
Oh, all right.
And so, for instance, loot boxes, that any new games that have loot boxes in them will not be rated lower than Peggy 16.
Wow.
Just
Good.
flat.
Nice.
So I think there's some interesting stuff here. I think they are a little bit maybe limited in the sense that there are like the Peggy designations. So there's 3, 7, 12, 16, and 18.
Right.
And that's sort of all there's not a lot of nuance to that, I guess. And so sometimes, they sort of, it's like, so that, sometimes they have to sort of say it's like Peggy 16, but then it's sort of, and then you can look and see like, but you want to see like, why is it Peggy 16? Is it for loot boxes or is it for whatever?
Because this Hello Kitty game has a loot box in it.
Right.
Yeah.
Other ones, anything that has a like a limited time, like a battle pass or something in it, is Peggy 12 minimum.
Okay.
Anything with NFTs is Peggy 18 minimum.
All right. Cool.
Anything, this is kind of interesting. Anything that is play by appointment mechanics. So like daily, basically things that have dailies.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, okay.
That are minimum Peggy 7, which is, to be honest, not like, I guess they're not Peggy 3. So you can't have like a kindergarten thing.
Cocomelon has dailies now, yeah.
And then if the game has mechanics that punish players for not returning, so it's like if it's not just a benefit, but it's actually you get a detriment for not coming back.
Right.
It's Peggy 12 minimum.
Oh,
I would put that one higher.
I would. Well, I mean, that's the thing, like, because it's funny how
we're not
much,
talking, and this is like not even talking money now. This is just like, so like if you're playing Animal
you lose
Crossing,
your streak.
Yeah, if you're playing Animal Crossing and your villagers get mad at you if you don't show up for a while,
Yeah.
That would be minimum Peggy 12.
I mean,
there could be other reasons why Animal Crossing.
I would assume that like it's even down to if it's like, oh, if you show up 10 days in a row, then you get a thing. But if you don't show up for the 8th day, then your entire streak resets and you miss a chance of being able to do whatever. Like that's a detriment to me.
I guess that can be. I don't think of that as a detriment. I think of things more like you didn't show up and therefore you literally do get punished for it.
There are people who have had bad reactions to being like, I couldn't make it to my whatever. I couldn't start my phone up. I couldn't turn on my Switch or whatever. I couldn't make it into the game because I wasn't home to do the thing until the day had passed. And therefore, I missed out on that opportunity. And so now that means that every day when I wake up, the first thing I do is I grab my phone and I open the game, or I get on my Switch and I start the game, or like whatever. I get in to register my presence, and it's like that's the compulsive behavior that you want to not encourage. Obviously, you don't want people to be like, well, it's the first thing it is. I woke up in the morning and then I panicked that I haven't actually done my thing yet. So I go ahead and I do my thing so that I can relieve the stress of not knowing I'm not going to get my thing done. And like, all this stuff is built upon, like all of these rules and everything are built upon trying to counteract the negative sides of any of this kind of game playing that we've invented for ourselves, right?
Games using these sort of dark patterns of
I mean, I don't see we have a streak system as inherently enforced FOMO. I see it more like when the game is constantly sending you notifications that you are going to lose your streak or that this will be bad for you as enforced FOMO.
Whereas how I look at it is like I would prefer a system that if you're going to have a streak, it should be counted more as how many times did you actually log in. Where if it's like, well, you need to log in 10 times in a row in order to get to the cool prize at the end. Oh, okay. Well, if I miss 3 days in the middle, that's fine because I logged in 4 times. I missed 3 days. I come back. It's like you're at 4 out of 10.
Right.
Now you're at 5 out of 10 because you just logged in again.
Here's
I like
a question
that.
for you then. You're using a habit tracker. How do you feel about losing your streak there?
I mean, but I would say that's not gambling, and I would say that's not a dark pattern. But I would also, because it's supposed to be, a habit tracker is supposed to be something that encourages you to continue a habit.
It's using the same sort of psychological effect.
Yes.
But for ideally a positive thing.
Yeah, and you're definitely making a choice there to say what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to encourage breaking a bad habit or generating a good habit.
Sure.
Right? This is not
No.
There's a difference between this stuff and gambling. And
yes,
the gambling
there
stuff.
is.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Different categories.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So, So like the way I look at it is I'm like a habit tracker is supposed to actually encourage a beneficial change in the person who is using it because it's trying to focus on certain things that you either want to happen to yourself.
But that's a nuance. That's a thing. So Duolingo, as terrible as they are for other reasons, they're fine because you're opting into a thing that you want to learn.
I mean, yeah, because if you're couching it as self-improvement, I mean, if you can couch playing a video game as self-improvement.
But then how do you write that? Do you write, as long as it's for self-improvement reasons?
So, I mean,
yeah, that's a good point.
As people in the chat have pointed out, the like punish players for not returning play by appointment style mechanism, some of these terms are not totally clear, or not like absolute sort of a line that can be easily think. And like with most sort of setups like this, it's kind of intentional, right? The idea is that they have a certain amount, because if you say you have to have XYZ, then the companies have hundreds of millions of dollars
to help them figure it away,
on working on something that you didn't quite put it,
Exactly.
And so the idea here is that they're providing, this is what's going to be, but as with any, with like the PEGI or the ESRB or anything, ultimately it's going to be looked at by the people. But they're just saying, if we decide that you are this, then you're going to think. Presumably you could argue that, no, we're not doing this.
Yeah.
We don't have any negative thing mechanic. We should be put at the lower thing. And whether or not you succeed at that argument would be up to you. But
there's an awful lot to be said for the smell test, right? Like being able to say that when I look at this, on the face of this, I can see that this is bad. Versus on the face of this, I can see that this is good. And even that gets into what people like to smell and what they don't like to smell. There'll be a lot of tribalism built into that as well, obviously, right? So you can't also count just on that. That's why we try to rely upon really carefully written, thoughtful laws to try to police morality. And you can't do that very well all the time, because it's like like morality is not something that is literally like having a 10 commandment thing. That's not morality. Those are laws that are basically meant to back up morality. Thou shalt not kill is not trying to teach you morality. It's trying to say that's the thing you're not allowed to do anymore.
Also, so just to be clear, the PEGI system is it's not like a government office or anything. So there's no legal basis or legal authority behind this other than voluntary.
And it's not like if you have a game that's at PEGI 16, they're going to card you to find out that you're 16. That's not really how those rating systems tend to work.
But
but there can be policies at certain stores or different things.
Yeah, companies like Walmart have done that thing in the past where, like, if I see a parental advisory explicit lyrics show up anywhere on the cover of your CD, I'm not letting your CD into our store.
Sure.
They have done that in the past, and it's like, yeah, if a store decides that they're like, we have decided that anything that's above PEGI 16 we don't want to stock here anymore, now your game is no longer available to be shown there. And that you're like, well, then you can go online and buy it. And it's like, sure, but then Steam has already done that thing in terms of what qualifies as adult content and what doesn't, and they have that whole thing going on.
Yeah.
It's like, well, now if gambling is a part of that too, what happens if they decide to make a choice where it's like, we don't want to have any games that involve any kind of gambling in them, and then that cuts out massive amounts of games that have loot boxes in them.
As an individual,
Yeah.
if putting loot boxes in your game, especially the really predatory ones, now you can't make games like that because stores won't sell them.
Yeah.
I fucking don't care.
Well,
that's
the thing.
As like a wider concept thing, all of these companies that you're talking about, well, I do think it sucks that they can't that they can deem what can't be in their store for whatever just reason they want.
Yeah.
At the same time, if I owned a store, I don't want someone to tell me what I can and can't sell.
And what's funny though,
I don't know.
Yeah, what's funny though too though is like societally, we the lottery we are pretty good with, right? But like gambling away a whole bunch of money in a casino, we're kind of not okay with. There's nuance
Technically
there.
in BC, we are okay with that.
Yeah, but it's like, but there's nuance there. But as a society, right? It's like a person sees somebody bet $10,000 in a hand of poker, and they're like, I think that guy has a problem. But they watch somebody go spend $10,000 an entire year on a lottery. You don't really see that happen because you spread it out. But it's like, you're playing the lottery.
I would say
and it's
that
whatever.
person still has a problem.
I still have a problem too.
Yeah, I don't.
But it's that kind of thing. We draw I'm drawing very big exaggerations for a reason. And I think societally, like, everybody here who's watching this, I think, with us right now, the vast majority of you are on the side of, man, I hate loot boxes. Like, I hate that we're into this point of This kind of either we're earning the loot boxes for free, because I've never paid for a loot box in my life, but it's like you're either earning them for free through a lot of gameplay, or you're paying for them, or you're all this microtransaction stuff. We've all kind of been like, man, this sucks. I wish this isn't what a lot of modern gaming has come down to, and I don't think society at large, despite how many people play games, I don't think society at large is kind of keyed into, hey, we could just say, I hate this loot box stuff and I don't want to play a game that has loot boxes in it, and make that a big enough thing. And I think it's turned into a thing where governments have started saying, we see a problem and so we're trying to regulate it.
I mean,
because we can see how it's bad for the people who are around, but most people are around. Most people are not feeling like it's that big a problem comparatively, right? So
I think with that assessment.
I think a lot of parents know that it's a real problem, but they feel powerless to stop it.
Yeah, but I also think a lot of parents. Are just kind of like, this is what games are. Like, we can say that. I think there's a lot of people who feel both ways on both sides of things, and they're kind of like, but this is what gaming is, and so you don't really think about it.
I don't think we would be having these conversations about law enacting these things if it wasn't considered a big enough topic.
We're having these conversations because we think it's a problem. There are a lot of people, not the majority of people maybe, I don't know. But there are probably as many people who feel like this is a problem that would be great if companies would just stop fucking doing it, versus other people out there who are like, I am largely indifferent to this whole thing in the first place.
But it is being talked about in the halls of various legislative bodies.
Which is great.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I would
clearly it is happening. Clearly people are,
I want the pressure
up.
to increase on companies to be like, I don't want to have this stuck to me in any way, shape, or form. And it feels good that Peggy's like, we're taking a stand saying anything at this level is Peggy 16. I think it should be Peggy 18. I think it should be higher than that. You think
anything with loot boxes should be Peggy 18?
I think that would be great. It would be extremely strong message to send.
Anything with paid for loot boxes should be Peggy 18 minimum.
If you can buy a loot box in a game with money in some way.
If you decide to update your game to add loot boxes after,
the
rating on your game has to change. In fact, you should have to reprint every box with the new rating.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you should get punished for that. There are games that do that. And I think it's
it's bullshit that they do that.
Gross that you can update your game to have a bunch of really predatory shit in it and be like, well, it got rated already.
Yeah.
They do say, in fact, actually, that the organization's changes the system will see games containing paid random items branded Peggy 16 by default. Although it does say that in certain circumstances that could rise to Peggy 18. So I guess it depends on how egregious they think it is. As a quick addendum there, the one other one is games lacking any way for like an online game that lacks ways for users to report or block players online. Peggy 18.
Wow.
Yeah, no,
that's
I can
cool.
agree with that assessment.
I like that. That's neat.
Yeah. I mean, if you've got interaction between players, it's pretty disrespectful, or it's pretty not just disrespectful, but it's it's a huge problem not to have some control over that.
Well, and especially if it's like, oh, well, this game is designed for 7-year-olds, but it turns out that anybody can get on there and yell shit back and forth at each other. It's like that's telling a parent that's like, well, this game is rated Peggy 7, so it's safe for my 7-year-old, and it's like, yeah, but your kid can get onto a place where everyone's yelling at each other. You can't block people.
There's a line underneath a lot of games that says online interactions cannot be rated by the ESRB.
Yeah, but there's like it's more the sense of like, if I let my kid go to the playground, I know they're at risk if they're playing alone or playing with their friends at the playground. I know they're at risk of just a rando walking along and being a pain in the ass to them or that kind of thing. But also I know that there are other adults around, or that there is technically police around, and there's that kind of thing. And it's like, if no one's policing their video game for them, and they have a set of headphones on, and I can't hear what's being yelled at them and that kind of thing. It's like, right, no other adults are around to try to get in the way to say, hey, stop acting like that.
And I mean, some of those that online interaction stuff, because as you say, there are like I know like Halo is sort of famously like has always been rated M, even though theoretically it should be like a teen game, but they've always had it as M rated for online interaction stuff, and a few other things like that. But anyway. Let's move on. All right. So we got Pikmin,
Jesus.
which probably, I feel like this probably is getting more coverage than it really deserves.
Yep.
By all the people talking about how it's copying Pocket Pal or not Pocket Pal.
Pal
Pocket
World.
Pair and Pal
Poc-
World.
Yeah, Pal World or Pokemon or whatever.
I mean, wasn't their company name Pocket something as well?
The company that makes
Pal World is called Pocket Pal.
Yeah, but for Pikmin, I thought at the beginning of the story,
The company's called Pocket Game,
Pocket Game, like
which is a very confusing name
terrible
to Google search for.
yeah, I bet. Oh God, yeah. It would
I
be.
could not find the logo for the company.
Yeah.
I did see somebody say that the only other game of note that this company has made is basically a ripoff of MapleStory. So I think that's just their stock in trade is like make a game that is maybe costs less money and has all this whatever. And,
I'm sure the game won't be good, but I have to say that the trailer they released is like, wow, this actually, I mean, this looks kind of cool.
yeah.
If it actually does all the things that they show in the trailer.
Sure.
I doubt it actually does that. But anyway, so, it's certainly, as I remember we actually did a story like a while ago about like, isn't it funny that this other company is now coming out with a game that is copying Pal World when Pal World was copying Pokemon. Like,
Yeah.
Pokemon-esque, Pal World-esque games, games where you have little dudes running around helping you, are pretty common these days, I think. Especially, I'm sure there are like the equivalent of like asset flips to get like a whole bunch of Pokemon-esque little
Yeah.
critters.
It's just so weird to me because I'm like, so when Pokemon and Digimon came out, I thought Digimon for sure was like the ripoff of Pokemon, and it definitely is not.
It's not. It's technically the ripoff of Tamagotchi.
Right. So, but what also gets me is that there's not a lot of. There could be influence where you could see that a Pokemon's design might be influenced by a Digimon or vice versa, like that kind of thing. But I don't think very heavily because I haven't seen a lot of people standing up and being like, "Lol, look at this! It's literally a rip-off this or it's a rip-off that kind of thing." Why would they put that into their game? I'm like, these are the two big Mon franchises for like little Pocket Monster type stuff. They've never had a problem with being like, you are totally wholesale ripping off my shit. They've been able to come up with designs that don't result in that. And it's for people who are like, well, what is such a problem with Pal World? And it's like, it was because it's like a Pokemon game, but it has guns and you don't like guns. It's like, no,
I just don't like the way it looks.
I don't like the fact that they just straight up said, I'll just copy your homework. Like, I'll just get out my tracing paper and do this because that's all you did. It's like OC don't steal. And I'm like, that's kind of bullshit, my dude. Like, if you don't have any original thoughts in your head, I guess that's what you're demonstrating here. You basically show your whole ass for everyone to see. And to have Pocket Game now do the same thing with Pikmin, I'm kind of like, oh my God, you showed even more of your ass. I didn't think that was possible.
I was reading a fan fiction the other day where this person had said, oh, okay, so I've taken these two characters from this one series, and but I've decided that it'd be really cool if this superpower thing from this other anime was in it. And I read through it and I was like, oh, this is pretty good. I hadn't watched the other anime that they had decided to influence with these characters, and then I did. And I realized that the entire fan fiction was beat for beat this other anime.
Just
Just with these other characters in it.
Right.
And suddenly I was just like, so you didn't put a spin on this of your own at all.
No.
You literally just followed.
You just wanted it to be, what if it was this?
Which is fine, I guess, because
Yeah.
it's fan fiction. But at the same time, I suddenly was like, I went from, oh, this is kind of neat, to, well, this is really disappointing, actually.
Well, because ultimately it feels like I thought what you were going to do is take these characters and put them in this universe, and then the presence of these characters means that something different happens in this universe. And no, you've basically just put them.
You just copy and pasted a couple different things.
You pulled
really.
in these new
And
paper dolls to
I
make
think
them do
that's-
the thing you want them to
That's
do.
like when we look at video games where it's like, okay, I think it's Cassette Beasts is the name of that one that's
Yeah.
very much like a Pokemon-like thing. But at least it's like, oh, well, we're taking cassettes and we're doing this thing and we have this music component and we're doing all these other things that are interesting. We're doing kind of our take on thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, neat. But when
Yeah.
you see something else that's just like, oh, it's just Charizard with Link riding around on it, it's like, okay, I mean, part of me would like that in a game, but at the same time, are you doing anything different with it, or did you just copy and paste some things together? That's what mods are for, not...
Yeah.
I will say that some of the discourse I've seen, not just around this, but also, there's the cassette beasts. Some people were comparing, one of the cassette beast guys to some of the starters that they've shown off for the new.
Winds and Waves, I think?
Yeah, Winds and Waves. That the little doggy looks kind of like one of the things from cassette beasts. And I gotta say, we're at the point now. There are, over 1,000 Pokemon.
Yes.
Yeah.
There are just like even Pokemon look like other Pokemon.
Yes.
Right? Like they
We have
all
clades.
Yeah. Like there's only so many little cute animals around. A lot of animals in the real world look like each other.
Yes.
And so if you're going to be like, I'm going to make a little monster and it's going to be a cute version of X animal, chances are it's probably already in Pokemon. There's probably something that looks kind of like that in Pokemon or Digimon or Cassette Beast
Sure.
or whatever. So I think there's some nuance in the like, sure, you can go through and be like, this looks like this looks like this looks like this. Yes. But then it's like, even if you're starting from that, where are you sort of going with it?
Yeah.
Like Cassette Beasts has like a whole other thing going on. They're doing else. They're not just making Pokemon. They're doing all sorts of interesting stuff with it. And so, anyway.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at Pikmon's artwork, and I believe I did see somebody post a video somewhere of the artist who did the fan art of the Magnium that's on that.
Meganium, yeah.
That they claimed that this game just took.
Yeah.
So it was like, it is a Pokemon that you're doing. You took someone else's fan art to do it.
Which is that's like
worse.
the weird
It's
like
it's
one
like you
step
did this
removed.
twice.
Yeah, you've somehow
I don't
done
know.
it. Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
It's gonna get even like, I mean, over time the popularity of Pokemon is because people will make their own OCs and stuff. And like, here's my cool OC Pokemon that I created.
Yeah.
Like we had that whole there's that dude who was designing Canadian Pokemon that one
Yeah,
time,
those were pretty fun.
which was very funny. And I'm like,
but like the chances of a real Pokemon being somewhat similar to something you randomly designed,
yeah,
even if what you just did was like a doodle on a page,
yeah,
gets more and more common.
exactly. And that's the thing, is like the chances grow over time if you have to keep introducing more Pokemon, that eventually some sort of drippy moose is going to show up inside one of these things and be like, I literally drew that maple syrup moose for a Canadian Pokemon thing 10 years ago. They're just straight up using it, and that's not great, or whatever, right? And like the more people have done Pokemon OC Don't Steal. Well, I shouldn't say Don't Steal. This is literally Pokemon OC. It's like their own cool designs that feel like they're in the style, but they're wildly different than anything that's already out there. That granted, yeah, you are gonna. There's thousands of people doing that, and you're gonna run into eventually at some point someone's gonna be like, one of the 3 new starters is literally a thing that I drew back in 3rd grade, and it's like, that you posted on DeviantArt, or that you didn't know I have it in my notebook here. It's like, they couldn't have fucking ripped you off, my dude, because it was in your notebook. Like, good thought, and they look very similar, but yeah.
Anyway, speaking of doing cool things and not being rewarded for it, Sega in their latest they're doing their financials.
Yeah.
One of the things they talked about is that their latest games have been very highly reviewed. Not just Sonic games, but some of their other games that they've been working on lately.
Sure.
There's a new Ninja Gaiden game and a couple other ones. Anyway,
They make games that aren't Sonic.
Yeah, Yakuza.
They do.
They make games that aren't Sonic.
That they've been very highly reviewed, but those reviews haven't necessarily translated into better sales. And so they put that down to a failure of marketing.
Yeah, it's usually what you would put down, right? Like,
And of course in the when I saw that, I was like, yeah, Sega, I really sympathize. Often the stuff that we spend the most work on, people don't necessarily care about, and then it's like, oh yeah, this, crap shot that we did for fun.
We'll put up a video that I'll be like, oh, I'm very proud of like thing in video. I can't wait until people see it. And the comments are always just like, cat.
Yeah.
And you're like, right.
Yeah, I did such a good job. I picked a really great voice, or I have a really good costume in this, or I did something that was really exciting. There's a cat in the background. I'm like, fuck. The cat's not doing anything. Like,
people, what people go for is not necessarily the thing you spent the most work on, or the thing that is sort of the most. That's just
what that
how
says.
It is.
So, and I'm just going to complain for a little bit because I know you're all very friendly here. Everybody in chat that
in fact they are all cool and
sexy.
Cool and sexy.
That's right.
That it is. I get now the point of view of actors who act on a much larger stage, obviously, right? Whether you're on television or movies or you're on Broadway or whatever, it's like. But that thing of they want to hear from you, like you watched my performance. Oh, I saw you in this is a Mitch Hedberg thing. Literally, he was like, I was in the airport, and a guy walked up. And he says, "Oh, hey, I saw you on Letterman last night," right? And that was it. And then Mitch was like, but he did not tell me if he enjoyed the performance. Like, he did not tell me if I was good. So I turned away from him, and I turned back like, dude, I saw you at the airport like a moment ago, and you were good. Like that kind of thing. And I'm like, that's. Well, all I want is like even a person who just jumps in is like, oh, this was funny. It's like, thank fuck, it showed me that you watched and understood what was going on in it because you thought it was funny and it was supposed to be funny. And I'm like, that's all I want. I don't care if you comment on my performance or on somebody else's performance or on something else that's going on. But if there's something you liked in there, if you have a comment, please just say what it is that you liked. And if it's the fucking cat.
I mean,
unless the cat is acting its ass off, I don't want to hear about the cat. So yeah,
I just think that's like the funniest one for me because it's like you can get usurped by a weird thing in the background. Yeah. Essentially, it's usually a cat.
Yeah.
But even if there's not that in the video, there is that thing of like, oh, I was really excited for this thing, and you go and you look, and there's nothing commenting on it. And you're like, oh fuck, I was bad. Like. And it's probably not. Generally, I find it's just people just didn't say anything about it. It's weird because it's like some of our stuff we've streamed. So when you watch a live stream and you see people commenting in real time, they will comment on stuff that if they had watched an entire YouTube video, they won't talk about.
Right. It's a little bit different.
Which is kind of interesting.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. Also, I don't care if you don't leave comments or anything. Like Fox
that's perfectly
just said,
okay,
I'm really bad at remembering to leave comments. That's okay. It's just that when we do see the comments that people do leave, and it's like it's completely disconnected from what's been going on.
I just hope that Sega's takeaway from this isn't, well, I guess there was no point to making good games. We'll just go back to making bad games.
I don't think that's what they're going to come away from on that. If they
hope so.
Put down that, this seems to be a failure of marketing, that suggests then they want to look into how to improve marketing, not necessarily changing up games. Although I think I'm talking like a regular person who's thought about a thing, and maybe I'm wrong because I don't speak CEO.
I also don't know who or where or how they're developing like a lot of this stuff, and if what Sega makes, this is so okay. So let's crawl back in my mind for a bit here, Beej.
Oh no!
It's like so back when I was a youngster. Fuck Sega.
Nope,
that's
you've gone back too far. You've gone back too far.
That's where I was back in the days. I'm like, why? Because I, it's like I have friends who had a Sega, but I have also friends who have Nintendos, and it's like I'm playing my Nintendo, and everyone trying to tell me that their Sega is way better, and I'm like, you hate that moment of like somebody saying, no, your thing sucks because it's not the thing I have, and my thing is better, right?
Yeah, we're bad at that as kids.
We're terrible at that as kids, and so you tribe up. You basically are like, well, no, now I'm on the Nintendo side for the rest of my life. That's what did this to me. Just it's just
Sega
other
fans.
children is what did this to me. I might have cared, and I stopped caring when Sega's Dreamcast did so fucking poorly that they pulled out of the console market, and I was like, great.
You're like, I won.
I won.
I chose the right side.
Exactly. Who cares if they're third place? They're still making a console, and the other side is not anymore. And what that meant is that over the year, my position on Sega's like work ever since that point has softened significantly, because I am a fan of the Yakuza series, despite the fact of not playing much of it. I really love the fact that they make these things and they're so in depth, and I love that. Games like Tokyo Mirage Sessions or like other Persona games and stuff like Atlas makes, it's being produced by Sega.
There's a significant argument that Sega is better as a software company than they were as a hardware company.
Exactly, right? and even in like, despite the fact that I'm like, the whole Sonic thing for me is a huge joke that I love making because I do not give a shit about Sonic, but it does feel good to be like, oh, Sonic Racing Crossworlds was a really good implementation of a racing game. Good for them. They made a fun game.
Let's not forget they made a joke murder mystery game.
Yes, and I love that too.
That was free.
That they're like, Nintendo would never do the murder of Mario and Luigi. Like,
No,
they would
but
never
that would
do
be
that.
hilarious if they did. You should get on that.
Right, the murder of Princess Rosalina.
They did Mario's
No,
Missing.
I like
that was a
Rosalina.
weird game.
Yeah. So yeah, right. So those things like
Mario teaches typing.
My position on Sega has softened a lot, and the fact that they just now will just make anything for any platform, and we're just going to try to make a go of it, and it'll work. And I'm like, yeah, and you have made a lot of games that people like, just not a lot of games that a lot of people like, the vast majority of people like. You've made a lot of games that maybe Sega's really good at identifying some niches and filling those niches, and it's like, you're never going to get massive sales out of these things. You're going to kind of always be hanging on by your fingernails, but you're going to do pretty well in the markets that for people who love, like, I mean, freaking like Kathleen being all about Shin Megami Tensei, right? And it's like, it seems like she'll always want to buy or at least play a SMT game, every time, despite the available time she might have or not. Or like playing Persona games, like everybody was getting into Persona for a while there, and it's like, not all these people are Persona fans, but some
Persona's
people are like,
the biggest it's ever been.
yeah. And I'm like, Yakuza coming to the Switch, being like,
I think Yakuza 2 is honestly getting to be like the biggest it's ever been.
Yeah, and they're doing crazy stuff now too, and I'm just, it is funny to hear them say, it's like, well, they're not translating into sales, and I'm like, are they not translating into Call of Duty sales, or is it just that they're not, like, they still are a niche market, and maybe that's what you're very good at, is making niche market games, and you don't have that kind of broader appeal that Sonic the Hedgehog 2 had back on the Genesis way back in the day, where you were kind of everywhere. Is that what you're lamenting here?
They could fix this. Sega, I have this proposal for you. Make the fucking sequel to Rhythm Thief.
That is everyone.
Everyone will love it.
They were talking about it at the Game Awards
Just me. Rhythm Thief was really cool, and it
Yeah.
definitely ends on a cliffhanger, and we have to go fight Napoleon. Like, come on.
Yeah.
It's true.
I
Napoleon's got to get what's coming to him.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's move on past the quick points and to the slightly longer points.
Sure.
Okay. Starting with this, the National Video Game Museum talking about this prototype Nintendo PlayStation that they acquired.
Yeah.
I want to make it very clear that we here at ChillPoint, and Beige in particular, knows that wasn't the final design of the product.
It literally says "not for sale" on the front of it. When I say, were they going to try to sell this? Like, come on.
He was joking.
It's fun to see something that looks that janky, to be like, this was going to turn into a more finished product, which it kind of did with the more Sony Nintendo PlayStation, like the nicer one that we've seen on the market. Or not on the market, but like that came out a little while earlier. This was a dev kit, but it was also like not a dev kit. It was like we were mocking this up as like, this is what we would develop for people. It was just going to be kind of this
dev
metal
kits
box.
I think you can get dev kits that maybe resemble closer to what the thing might look like, but in
like
essence, what you're looking for is something that just plays stuff at the specs that it needs to be played at, right?
Yeah, like a lot of dev kits, like I think the original like PlayStation dev kits and stuff were literally just like a computer.
Yeah.
Like it just looked like a
Yeah,
tower.
a lot of them just look like PCs.
Beige box.
Yeah.
They're not meant to look that interesting.
Yeah. N64 ones I believe, were just basically SGI indies or something like that. They're literally like a lot of the stuff they were working on.
And I think
if I
like
remember
some of the
correctly, was
portable
like that.
systems typically end up having like if they have the screens or whatever that you're working for, they have like a video out and stuff that they wouldn't
Right.
have on the.
I love the moment in the Tetris movie where they go to the heck whatever the dude's name was. He goes to like Nintendo's clean room to go see their mock-up of the Game Boy,
Right.
and it's in this like beautiful like. The room
Oh, right.
the room is very like tech feeling. It's all got indirect lighting and whatnot.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
got like a raised floor and stuff, and it's like this
Thing on a
single table in the
pedestal.
middle of the room, and it's on like a pedestal, but it's all in pieces, and it's not like kind of finished, but
with
it's
like big ribbon cable coming out the
yeah,
back.
it's like mostly together but not. And I was kind of like, there ain't no fucking way
Yeah,
it looked
because
like that.
especially in
It's
that era,
definitely on somebody's
it would
desk.
be it would be in a room that has the feeling of like a garage with just shit everywhere
We've
and
seen-
pieces everywhere and all kinds of
We've
stuff.
seen pictures of Gunpei Yokoi working on the Game Boy originally, and it was like there's like a chipboard table, like
Yeah.
a huge bench that your dad has in his garage, and it's like the whole place just looks like a mess, and it's like this is what he's putting together.
Yeah,
and it's
because
like,
when
yeah.
you're actually working on stuff,
yeah.
it doesn't look cool and futuristic and clean. It never looks clean.
I mean, then again, I guess you could interpret that as that was Nintendo trying to impress this guy.
Yes.
Like maybe they like set that
Oh,
up.
yeah. We definitely needed to make that guy impressed.
Yeah, to impress that
so
guy.
like the Instagrammers who like to show off that they craft, the very like purposeful, look how clean all of my stuff is, when you know that an actual crafter, not that they're not actually crafting, but when people can't see them,
Yeah.
are like huddled into like these clawed goblin poses.
Oh, and there's
trying
like
to cross stitch.
There's
and
like
stuff.
there's little bits of yarn and like
yeah.
and string and shit
Just
everywhere out
string
from
all over the floor.
Yeah, it's just a massive mess. There's stuff all over.
Yeah,
them,
like
and
the
they're-
only thing
yeah.
I've ever been really careful about when I've been sewing or anything is making sure my pins and my needles aren't anywhere dangerous. And that's not including my scissors. My scissors definitely end up in dangerous places, but at least those I can see.
Yeah. What I do love about it though is it was a CD-ROM caddy system.
Yeah.
You
well,
could see the caddy on the inside.
Well, because that's the only way they could do CD-ROMs for a long time.
Yeah.
They were. I had a computer that had a CD-ROM caddy on it. It was not good.
No, they were a
That
pain
was
in the ass.
kind of a
So,
pain in the butt. Yeah.
Like, I don't know what this means.
Okay.
It's like it's just like a little box.
Okay.
Picture
that you-
taking your CD in its
you-
jewel case and just shoving it into the thing.
Yeah, you open up, you put this disc in and close it and stick it in. It's just they couldn't figure out how to make the disc interface with the
Spindles and everything.
spindles
Okay.
aligned properly, and so they had this sort of extra layer of to have a kind of a caddy for it.
And then we got like tray loading and slot loading after a while. And with slot loading, I mean, I love slot loading CD-ROM drives. They're the coolest damn thing in the world. But when they get stuck, they are awful.
Oh, that's true.
And at least the tray was like you pull the tray, go cocoon, and then you put the thing in
Yeah,
the
I
tray.
mean, we
and
definitely
it's-
had a computer that had the tray loading. I think the school had the slot ones where you just put a thing in, and that felt weird at the time.
Yeah, we had a Mac in my school that had a
Mac has had slot loaded for a while
yeah,
now.
but we had a Mac in our school that had a SCSI CD-ROM drive on it, and it was all caddy based, and it was like I was like, what is this stupid thing? It's like, yeah, you pop it open, and then you take the thing out, you put it, and you close it, and then you close it, and you close it, and you close. The fucking thing doesn't click, and then finally it clicks, and you put the thing in.
Yeah, like the tray just felt more secure somehow.
Yes.
My favorite was, and I talked about this Desert Bus Express last year.
Yeah.
We did like a show and tell thing, and one of the things I showed off was I have a super drive, the external USB
Apple
super drive.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
DVD writer. Yeah.
Which is, and something that it wasn't hidden, but it wasn't made that clear, was that the super drive at the time anyway only worked with Mac laptops.
Yeah.
Because knowing that this was going to be a problem, Apple intentionally juiced their USB ports on their laptops.
Yes.
The USB ports on the Mac laptops were capable of sending more current or more voltage or whatever
Yeah.
than a normal USB spec was. And so And so, I mean, nowadays you can plug it into things and it mostly works. But
Yeah.
still, what's funny though is like I have a Windows computer now, and if I plug it in the right, if I have like an adapter and plug it into the USB-C port,
Yeah.
it will work.
Nice.
But if you plug it into like a normal USB 2 port where it should work,
Yeah.
you stick a disc in and it goes. It's like, I'll try to pull it in. Nope, I got tired partway through.
Oh.
It just doesn't have enough oomph.
Yeah.
It shows like it shows up as connected to your computer.
Oh, sure.
But it
That's
doesn't have quite enough oomph to power the motor properly. So
God,
just
that's
kind of.
funny.
One of the first computers I got at home,
Yeah.
the CDs wouldn't stay in it.
Oh.
It constantly would pop the CD out.
Ooh.
And I had to call tech support, and they were like, well, maybe there's something wrong because it's connected to the internet. I'm like, the computer's not connected to the internet. And I turn it on and I look at it wrong and the CD pops out, dude. Like, we ended up returning the computer. It had a much different problem with it, like living, any kind of thing.
Oh my God. Yeah. Back in the day when you could just do computer support and just say anything you wanted.
Oh, yeah.
It
Yeah.
didn't have to even make any sense. Holy shit.
PC was haunted. It was a Hewlett Packard, so. You know,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you screwed up. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Whoa.
you say that.
That was
but,
fighting words.
but,
I mean, you
like,
didn't buy it.
I
but-
didn't buy it. My parents got it for me. It was a very nice gift of them, but like, yeah, we returned and got.
I have a
something
rough
else.
idea of what era you bought that machine in, and I'm like, if you bought a Hewlett Packard from that era, it was not a
I
good
would
idea.
have been about 16
Yeah, that was the
Yeah.
time when most of the PC
from
brands
the
were
Radio
circling.
Shack.
Yeah, yeah. Compaq, you might have been okay. You might have been okay with Compaq, but
So there's the next story we have is about the layoffs that EA did at their several Battlefield studios.
yes, because Battlefield is doing terrible.
Yes.
Yep.
When I put this into the document, when I put this as like when we talked, sort of looking at the stories for the week, I was like, this is probably one of the bigger stories of the week.
Yeah.
But I don't really see how to make it funny.
Cameron found a way.
And yeah, I mean, Cameron in his acerbic way, I guess you might call it, did a great job of.
I enjoyed the world map graphic.
Oh, thank you.
That was good.
Yeah, just this idea that what do we do? You know, if the game fail, we've had these high profile game failures. We've had games that are, okay but not very successful.
Mm-hmm.
We've had games that are very successful. We've had games like this that is the most successful launch they've had of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Of Battlefield, which is one of the most successful franchises of all time.
Yep.
And people are still getting laid off. It's
Yeah.
like, so what the hell is, like, so whether you keep your job or not has absolutely no basis on either your performance,
Yeah.
the performance of your team, or how successful the product you're making actually is.
Mm-hmm.
So, what's the point?
And
What do you do about it?
And what's stupid about it too is it's like you can't. It feels like if you have an indie studio and then you make a successful game, your indie studio will kind of keep going for a while. Mm-hmm. It's just like we sold a lot of product. Maybe we didn't have to sell like 100 million. Maybe we only had to sell like 1 million of these, or maybe we only have to sell like 500,000 of these. But it's like your studio will keep going, and you will have a job for years upon years doing that kind of work. That will be a reliable source of income for you, and that's really what people want, right? They want to keep making stuff, and they want to have a reliable source of income over a period of time. They want to be able to live, and but a young developer like wanting to get into the industry who's not really looking at what's going on in the industry would be like, no, man, I want to work for insert big name of company here because I want to work on insert the biggest franchises
Oh, sure.
in here. And So I'm like, right, because you would also think that you'll get paid incredibly well. You'll have a lot of fun working with people. There'll probably be a lot of perks and stuff involved too, and then you'll get to work on the biggest names of stuff, and then it'll sell a whole bunch of copies, and you'll be incredibly successful, and then you'll work there for 5 years, and then you'll quit and you'll start your own company. And you'll make a game that's even bigger than so and so's game. That kind of idea, and I feel like none of that's happening because it seems like you go to work for a company like that and you'll probably end up getting laid off after you contribute to the big game.
I feel like the standard thing of those companies is if you don't get laid off within the first year or two, you're burnt out.
Sure. Yeah. And so then and that, like, all of it feels like you can't rely upon game development as it's like you have to strike gold, because I think if you're a struggling game developer, if you're doing it all yourself, but you have the love of the game, then it's like you'll stick with doing it through thick and thin no matter what. You make the money here, you make the money there. You're going to do your damnedest to try to stick around for as long as you can making games, or you're just bitten by it. So you're like, I have to work a day job, and in my off time I'm making this game, and it's like, which sucks because that's 2 jobs at the same time. Nobody wants that either. But it really just feels like the whole the advice you want to give is like, hey, are you a young developer and you want to do a thing? Find 3 or 4 of your friends and get together and start a little studio yourself and actually try to make a thing go. It's like, well, what are we gonna do for money? It's like nothing. You're gonna have to work fucking day jobs. It's gonna be awful. You're gonna hate it so much. But at least if you grab that brass ring, then it's on your terms and you get to do whatever you want with it at that point.
Well, I mean, it's pretty, like, a lot of these things are really relative. An indie game studio is only seeking to continue.
Yeah, exactly.
So you and your margins are going to be probably smaller. Like, your budgets and stuff are going to be way smaller. A AAA studio thing like Battlefield 6, like them saying, "Oh, we've done the best we've ever done. We did whatever, and we did whatever, but we needed to sell like 3 billion copies or something."
Yeah.
Weird. I don't remember what the number was, but it was a lot bigger, right? And
Yeah.
that's based on, I mean, sure, some of that's based on we have investors that are expecting certain payouts, but it's also based on budgets, which means you spent an awful lot of money to make this game in the first place. But then who the hell looked at this and went, hey, we'd have to do 10 times more successful than we've ever successfully done before, so we should make the game cost this much money.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean and
that's just assuming that they did it that spot. Chances are good it ballooned over time. And then those things went up, but still,
that's definitely one of these. That thing of like, if your pipeline for development requires your game to be one of the most successful games of all time in order for you to break even on it, then something has gone drastically wrong.
Yeah, because that's
with your development pipeline.
That stops being a moderate risk position and puts you in a very high risk position.
Yeah.
And that should be something that from a business perspective they should be evaluating and saying, we can't. Mm-hmm. This is an unsustainable path that we're on.
I guess I just also find it weird because it feels like every year we have this conversation about this is unsustainable. Why do they keep doing this?
Yeah.
And even a book I read on Nintendo from back in the 90s had a guy being like, this is going to be really unsustainable. Why are people doing this? And I'm like, I don't know. We keep doing it, though.
Yeah.
Turns out
it's happening, though.
Unsustainable things can keep going for quite a long time before they completely fall apart.
Yeah, this fails gradually, then suddenly.
And so, we'll see what happens. And I mean, of course, I guess one of the aspects of this, as Cameron talked about, is that, this ridiculously huge merger, or not even a merger, it's a acquisition.
Right.
Is apparently approved, I guess. I don't know if it's what stage of the process it's going through. But anyway, that's happening. So obviously that's a consideration for, you want to make your company look as nice as possible for
Yeah.
the nice investors.
I feel like the first thing that I would say to anybody though going to work for like Blizzard or Bethesda or any of these like EA or whomever else, right? It's like if you're going to go work for those big companies because you want to be involved in those big projects, the first thing you need to do is it's prison rules, right? You need to find out who the biggest guy in the room is. And you need to make friends with him. Like you need to like find out whoever it is that's there that's actually good at their jobs. And
Pretty sure that's not what they say about the prison.
I
I think you're supposed to beat up the guy who's the biggest guy there.
why would I want to do that? He's so big.
You're
He's so big,
You're
Paul.
supposed to make friends with the big guy if you can't beat him up.
Yeah, but I kind of feel like the advice I would give as a guidance counselor or to anybody who's like, yeah, I'm gonna get out of university and do this is like, okay, cool. So here's what I want you to do. When you get that job at Bethesda, you need to go find out who like don't talk to the producers, don't talk to the directors, don't talk to any of those guys. Find out who works at your level in like art and all these other things. You need to find out who is in danger of losing their jobs because they're brand new. Not because if they've been there for 5 or 6 years, they're probably going to keep their jobs. The people who are brand new, find out who's there, who you like and who you get along with, and make friends with them and interact with them and network with them because they're going to be your most immediate contacts. And when you guys all lose your job after the first game, no, shut up. You're going to lose your job after your first game. It's what's going to happen. This is just what's happening in the industry for whatever. You guys need to be friends. You need to have each other's backs because maybe one of you has a neat idea for a game that nobody's making yet. And then maybe you all work on that game together. And maybe that's how you end up making money in the future. Because maybe you don't get to keep this job at Bethesda. Maybe you do.
There's a lot of maybes happening in this sentence structure.
But it's like, you got to fucking hedge your bets, guy, if you want to be in this industry. And the best way to do that is to make a lot of friends with people who are at the same level as you when you start.
I mean, there's a joke, not a joke, but like something that you definitely notice if you spend a lot of time looking at gaming news like we do, is, there's a lot of game companies, often with silly names.
Yeah.
There'll be lots of announcements like this company's coming out, this company's opening stuff, and part of what happens with all these layoffs is if 100 people get laid off, you'll end up with 10 new game companies.
Exactly. With silly names.
as they've all gone and do stuff, which maybe not so bad, but anyway. Sony's going to be doing has been experimenting with doing dynamic pricing, which is, I feel like this is one of those things that depending on how it's sort of presented,
Yeah.
can be fine or can be very exploitative.
Now, I want to say there was a comment somewhere that said that this had more to do with sale prices, not like
price increases.
Like every time you log in, the main price is going to be whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The standard price
different sale prices,
will be whatever, but the sale prices will be different.
Because digital goods have no scarcity, because you can just copy things forever, that including increases is not really like a necessary. Like it's not necessary unless. The only reason why you would want to increase price on digital good is because you're like, I know the market can bear that price. I know that people are willing to pay $150 for GTA 6, for example. That's again, that's not happening, but
that we know of.
Yeah,
and I mean, but like pricing based on various factors, like say region or different things, definitely does happen.
Yeah,
different prices,
but it is not dynamic. It is
right.
It is more of a like you might have a price cut in a certain region because because of exchange rates, but you might also have a price cut in a region that's just not because of a sale, but because it's like, oh, this game isn't selling as well in this region. What if we actually give it a 10% cut in Brazil or whatever? And it's like, oh, now all of a sudden people are kind of coming to that game, so that new game's price will always be 10% lower. And it's like we are figuring this thing out about that area. And yeah, the idea of doing this kind of thing in multiple markets it does feel like to take the pessimist view that Nelson does in the story. It's like it does start to feel like no one's really ever going to know what any kind of game should cost anymore if you kind of are always running these things. But they're not run randomly. They're run in a very specific kind of
and like as Heather was saying, like the sales are happening all the time for all sorts of different reasons.
Yeah.
So this is sort of if you look at this as like directed sales,
Yeah, I mean,
it's sort of
if it's done on an individual basis, for example, right? Like, if I go look at a game and for me it's on sale for 30%, but for Paul it's only on sale for 25%.
Yeah.
I feel like we're going to notice.
Yeah.
Because maybe we're talking to each other and we say something about it. And because a lot of people use sites like Deku Deals, if that site's getting a different readout, then because right, like you're gonna notice.
right.
But if it's all done regionally, where it's like, oh, in this region we know we can put this at 25% off versus this one, maybe not. Maybe
Yeah.
we wouldn't notice.
And it sounds like the program identifiers are not based on region; they're based on different people getting different prices.
That in this case, I mean, this is a company that's obviously this is a third-party company that's sort of inferring what's going on based on what they can glean from the API.
Yeah.
But I mean, I will say like an example where of this kind of dynamic sort of sales and pricing and stuff that I don't really have a problem with is like say Starbucks.
Yeah.
My Starbucks app, if I log into it, it'll be like, hey, you haven't ordered a cold brew coffee in a while.
It's a win back.
Here's a little, here's like a price decrease on it. Or if you order 3 in the next week, we'll give you extra stars or whatever.
These are called win backs.
Right.
This is literally breaking your streak to get a reward.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
And so, but like, and I don't feel bad about that.
You shouldn't.
But like, theoretically, other people are paying more for their drink than I am.
Well, true.
So that is dynamic pricing.
But they're paying the regular price, and you're getting a discounted price because they've identified you as a customer that they want to come back and work on stuff. And
I mean, that's what we're talking about here, though. That's the sales stuff. Yeah.
If it leads to the thing that I think everyone's concerned about is like it's like surge pricing for Ubers, right?
Right. So it's like now the question is, once it's like you get in the door with the lesser price, but then it's like, oh, maybe we can also turn it up.
Yeah, because what if there is a run on
upsell.
Starbucks coffee? Like, what if the Starbucks that's nearest to your house all of a sudden is very busy, and so in order to deter
they closed all the other Starbucks in town,
and so in order to deter you from coming and getting a Starbucks that day, when you go to order one, they're like, oh yeah, your Starbucks, your coffee now is going to be $1.50 more expensive. If you saw that, now I'm sort of not saying this is not happening yet, but it's like that is a good where you can do that kind of surge pricing to be like, it's so busy at the store that we don't want to have anybody else come in just yet. Starbucks won't take that position. They're trying to sell the hell out of their coffee. But, if there was a run on coffee for some reason, they'd be like, oh, well, now the prices of coffee beans have gone up. And so now the prices of everybody's thing for the next 2 weeks is going to cost more money. And that's not good for them either. But that would require that they would have to change all their signboards in their place to say, well, a venti is going to cost you this much. And it's like, no, they're not going to do that. Except now that they have electronic signboards in a lot of these places and they're controlled centrally, they can start doing stuff like that.
I've never seen a Starbucks with a digital signboard. I mean, I'm sure they must exist,
but
maybe
in other
like
places.
In other places, but
But I feel like digital goods should never have this kind of, we're going to bump the price up on stuff. There should be no reason to do it.
I think it would be funny if like you walk in, like it's, they've got the digital thing.
Oh yeah.
And so it's like, your latte is $5. And then like you walk in the door and the digital sign changes.
Yeah.
Like, your latte, $6. Hey, wait. And then
hang
you
on a
walk out
second.
and it goes back down in price.
Like, I'll just order it on the app.
Wait a minute.
That's a real like that would be a real fucker to walk in and all of a sudden just see basically latte with just a like a line graph that's doing this all day to be like, what's the futures on my line graph, like, or the futures on my latte, and it's like and I mean, okay, now I'll buy now.
There are a lot of promotions that I have seen Starbucks do that are like, if you come in between this time and this time, this thing is on sale or this thing is half price.
Yeah.
Or your second order of the day.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, second order of the day. Because essentially that's just trying to upsell you.
Right. They're like everybody is coming to Starbucks at least once a day. How do we get more money? Mm-hmm. If we have them come twice a day.
Exactly.
This is why it's good to learn the word no, because like this has just been a real thing for years. When you
No,
go,
I
when
refuse to learn that.
When you go to like a fast food restaurant, they will ask you if you want the thing to be like larger for 50 more cents or whatever,
supersize
or
me.
they will ask you if you want this additional thing, or even the thing where you're like, oh, I'd like a drink, and they just straight up ask you, oh, do you want it to be Coke? It's because they're trying to make the transaction faster, and and it's not like that individual is doing this maliciously. This is what they've been taught to do.
Yeah.
And which is why it's like, and part of that is predicated on the idea that because we want the path of least resistance, I mean, that's why we're getting fast food, to be honest, is you just say, yeah, that's fine. Yes, I'll take that.
Yeah.
It sounds like a deal, whatever. You just say no.
Yeah. I usually have such a hard
It's a good
time.
practice place to say no, actually.
I usually have such a hard time justifying buying fast food to myself to begin with that generally by the time I've made it to the point where I'm buying the food, I've already locked in my head what my order has to be, and that's what I want to see in the bag when I'm leaving. That it's like, do you want anything else? I'm like, no, because I don't want to think about any other part of this transaction. It's like I've already decided on what I want. I don't want to start thinking about other things that I want.
If I'm buying food in the wrong mind space because I really need to eat something, so therefore my brain's just really scattered.
Yeah.
If they ask me a question where I can just say yes and it will let me leave faster,
Right.
I will say yes.
Right. That's fair.
If they're going to ask me something that requires actual thought and choices, I might actually just leave.
Yes.
I've done that before. I've been in the middle of an order and been like, nope. And
You want fries?
Don't change my mind.
I've
Do you want
actually
fries
left.
with that? Bye.
I
Yeah.
mean, this is usually at places where I haven't gone that often, so they don't know who the heck I am. But, you know.
And then the final story for the actual Checkpoint episode was about V-Bucks.
Yeah.
Or about Fortnite, and about how the amount of V-Bucks you're going to get for your dollar is going down. So before you were, for $5 you got 1,000 V-Bucks. Now for $5 you get 800
Yeah,
V-Bucks.
that's actually pretty sneaky because when the graphic was going to come up, I was expecting the prices to increase by like a couple dollars, and instead to see it's like no, the money
just
is the
get less.
same because we know that a lot of people might not actually even notice.
The exchange rate has
Because,
changed in Tomato Town.
At
least the battle pass is the same
Yeah.
as the cheapest thing you can buy into.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been truly evil
Yeah.
and kind of brilliant, but also evil.
Oh yeah.
If they had kept the battle pass at 1,000 V-Bucks, but the whatever $9
yeah.
gets you 800, so you have to buy like two packs.
People would have definitely rioted over that.
Yeah, people wouldn't have liked that, but
Yeah.
that would have been kind of anyway.
Yeah.
Now,
Not
yeah,
that they might not be over
To be-
this, but that definitely would have been a.
to be fair, they did So they did lower the battle pass so that you can still get the battle pass for the same price effectively.
Yep.
They didn't lower anything else, but they
No.
lowered the battle pass. And then mostly, so people have gotten obviously angry about this, especially the cost of Fortnite has gone up a lot, and we're raising prices to help pay the bills. Is the basically the extent of the description of their.
We all have trouble paying our bills these days, folks. So does Fortnite, man. My internet bill is just so high. Or like,
Weirdly, if they
groceries for Fortnite cost so much fucking money.
If they had just said, "Hey, we're raising prices," I mean, people would still be angry, and I wouldn't
Something
care
about
because
paying
I'm
the
like, I
bills,
don't play
yeah.
Fortnite. But something about like,
Paying the bills.
oh, but we have to pay the bills, and like, oh, well, now I hate you. I just inherently hate you right now.
Yeah, it's
You
like
ain't that.
what that. Yeah, whatever that your latest collab
I can't
with
believe that's actually
international
something that got said.
Yeah, your latest collab with some international franchise didn't quite pan out as well as you were hoping it would.
Yeah, it's weird to me because obviously the language is the thing that's really driving this home for people to be like really skeeved out about. Obviously, just because any change, if they just made the change and been just like, we're restructuring the V-Bucks and the Battle Pass, and here's what's going to cost now, and they just said it like that,
I mean, people would still be angry.
they'd still be angry, obviously.
But
right?
But there
I
wouldn't
just
be that
feel like-
extra level of anger.
Yeah, I
where
feel
it's
like
like you
they
can't
added
pay
You'd be
the
like,
bills.
oh, that sucks.
And it's funny because they're saying the cost of running Fortnite has gone up a lot and we're raising prices to help pay the bills. And I'm like, that was a PR approved statement. Somebody wrote that and PR was like, yeah, that sounds, actually it sounds very relaxed and it sounds very relatable. And that's what we are, is we're a multi-billion-dollar company that's very relatable. And like, that's the questions they aren't asking themselves is like, you don't exist at a point where you're like, you're the little fucking guy, my dude. But you can't say operating costs for Fortnite have increased over the last quarter, and so as a result, we are adjusting the prices to do, like, that would be corporate speak, and it wouldn't be appealing because Fortnite's supposed to be a fucking cartoon, and you're supposed to be Sabrina
Yeah, but
Carpenter.
they're always trying to act like they're the fucking little guy that's getting stepped on, and they're not.
Exactly, and
They never have been.
I think that's the thing that's really disgusting a lot of people outside of just the tangible bit of the thing that feels bad. It's like the way that you said it. You tried to make yourself sound like, oh, we're all having problems, guy, and it's like, you ain't having problems. I know it's $6 billion in revenue. That is not profit. I don't know what their break-even point is. Maybe it does cost them $5.9 billion to run the entire company, and so they're only making $100 million on top of that or something like that. But it does really feel like this is a little skeevy to be saying, like, oh, everyone's having trouble paying their bills, and so are we, guy.
So there was a small update to this.
Oh,
not
yeah?
in the sense, not a big update, but there's just, lots of people obviously complaining about this in various places on the internet. In a Reddit thread, an actual Fortnite, I don't know if they're
Someone who claims to work there.
how official they are, but a Fortnite developer or a Fortnite representative anyway, saying, I appreciate the posts in these threads today, everyone. There's been a lot of feedback here, not just about the V-Bucks changes, but sharing your feelings about Fortnite as a whole. Can you guess what those feelings were? Because especially on this current season. Can't wait to show you next week's updates.
Oh, eat my ass, my dude. You are
'Cause
not
they're-
listening.
The new season stuff is coming out next week. I guess.
Yay.
And people, what I love this particular, and I feel like they probably have a little bit of experience in this particular Reddit community.
Okay.
With official people from the company coming in, because they have a bot that says like, this comment was made by a Epic employee, and reposting it.
Oh, yeah.
Because of course the problem is that everybody downvoted that guy's post so much that it got hidden.
Right.
One of the problems with Reddit is, somebody said something that is a legitimately important thing to show people, but because nobody liked it, it got downvoted, which meant it got hidden.
Yeah.
Sure, it's important.
Yeah.
Not important, but like it actually
It is probably like a person.
It is a piece of information.
that shouldn't get hidden.
Yeah, relevant information.
But
Boy, that's funny.
Anyway, let's talk about some other stuff.
Yeah.
Stuff that didn't necessarily make it into the full trailer. Not too many things, but it was GDC.
Wasn't there a coming up?
Oh yes, there was. Right,
is simple.
talking about the new Luigi Mario Kart.
Yeah, I saw the commercial for those the other day.
Yeah, it's like so it's a new Lego 18 plus set, like their adult Lego stuff for Luigi. It looks really really cool.
And Mario and
it fits with the Mario Kart one that they already released.
oh, I didn't realize that was an older one.
Yeah, so last year
I don't keep up with
last
it.
year I guess they released a Mario one. So this is a Luigi one based in the same idea. They've also shown off that apparently, maybe not this year, but it might be not until next year, they're actually going to release like Mario and Luigi like minifigs.
Okay.
Which they haven't actually done any that are like minifig size.
Neat.
So that's cool. Okay, so other stuff. So I believe it was GDC this last weekend or last week or whatever.
It's been happening over this last week.
there's a big developer thing.
If it has been, I know that they are. There's a lot of people who are like, "Hey, I'm not going."
Right, because people didn't want to go to the States.
Yes.
Heard
more about that than anything else.
Anyway, there's a couple of interesting things that came out of that, or some sort of talks that give. In particular, Outer Sloth.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you may have seen this at one of the. It was either at the Summer Game Fest or Game Awards, or one of those events. So Inner Sloth is the company that makes Among Us.
Right.
And Among Us turned out to be, after it was basically like fine for like 2 years, exploded such that the company, as we were talking about, like this sort of indie company got this big infusion of cash.
Yeah.
And one of the things they decided to do with it is the company Inner Sloth created a subsidiary called Outer Sloth designed to publish indie games.
Right.
Okay.
Other people's games. And it's kind of interesting. Well, it's sort of publish, but they basically wanted to this idea of not sort of not providing like a ton. They're not actually. They have to be like very. They've been very sort of clear. They're not actually providing like a ton of sort of services like a publisher normally would. They're kind of bare bones about it, but they're just they're giving advice and helping out and funding for companies. I think they have something like 25 million that they've sort of earmarked for the next 5 years,
right,
to give to different to sort of work with different companies.
Okay.
And then they also and it's not a grant. They're publishing, and then they're going to
they want money back.
They're getting them back anyway. Outer Sloth. So Outer Sloth did a talk at GDC called what was the was it game funding lessons for sickos?
Okay. All right.
I know what you're here. I know what you sickos are here for, and it's insight into games funding, how we do it, and maybe how you might do it too," said their community manager.
Yeah, she is the Outer Sloth and Inner Sloth community director, Victoria Tran. It's good. Good way to start.
Yeah. So anyway, this is kind of the article is interesting because it's in Game Developer. It's talking about they kind of looked behind the veil, showed off actually like what their contracts are like, what their stuff are like, and trying to be as transparent about it as possible.
Right.
And talking about the different things. So they've got how they're doing the recoups and how they're taking how they're taking money, and this kind of stuff. So there's even a slide deck that you can check out. But one of the things that was interesting is they talk about how they are interested in, like, often companies will publish just to they'll first go to like Steam, and then if it's successful, they will go to other console platforms.
Yeah, because it costs money to do the porting.
And one of the sort of terms that people found interesting and slightly maybe there's some nuance there is that like Outer Sloth also takes they according to their contracts they also take they have some recoup cost on those ports, even though with the idea that it's like even though we didn't help you with that port, the game wouldn't have been made at all,
right,
if you didn't use our money to do that. So,
yeah, makes sense.
Anyway,
I can understand
there's sort
that.
of nuanced contracty stuff.
I mean, that's part of running a thing like this. Like, a part of being a publisher is you try to get. You would want to get paid on every little bit of the thing that goes in through the process. And I'm sure from the point of view of the developer, it's like, but you just paid to help me make the game. And it's like, well, yeah, but I want points on every part of every other piece of the transaction.
A lot of those contracts usually start with your first amount of sales are about the recoup costs. And then after a point, the amount of money they take is less because it's not about recouping what they've helped put in.
Yeah.
And the other really interesting thing they're talking about is they don't provide a lot of like marketing support. That's not sort of their deal.
Interesting.
Which you know,
That
if
is-
you know about like Among Us doesn't have like a ton of marketing.
No,
It's
but that
yeah.
is a thing that publishers will take care of a lot of the time within their contracts.
And so they're sort of a bare bones thing, but they're saying that she said one of the things that they've found that developers find the most beneficial is that they have like these sort of Slack and Discord groups and stuff where all the people who are their funding and stuff are communicating with each other and giving, you know, sort of whatever insider trading information and stuff. And
Right.
apparently everyone has found that, which, you know, sort of one of those like sort of, I mean, that's easy to set up. Like that's not even.
Yeah, you're just inviting people into a very exclusive community. Yeah,
But obviously there's other stuff. But
that's cool.
the other part of that is they also talked about the number of pitch, because their whole thing is that anybody can pitch them
Yes.
on stuff. They say they reject about 50% of pitches, just like out of hand.
Mm-hmm.
They're even interestingly, including every single pitch so far they've that involves generative AI, they have rejected.
Sure.
All right.
Yeah, saying they reject about 50% of pitches. About 30% of those were Gen AI submissions. They say they say about 1% of pitches make it to the final round.
Yeah, I
which
mean, that
is,
doesn't
you know,
really
not-
sound that
Not that unusual.
weird to me.
Just the idea of I like that Victoria Tran says that what they're looking for is games that have soul, and I liked the idea. I mean, and it's a very subjective thing that you're trying to turn into an objective context, but it's like the fact that they're saying what we want is to back a game that when we see it, it feels like it's a game that needs to exist. Like it's a game that we haven't seen. Maybe it's not that it's like it's unique and whatever, but it's like it's a game that's trying to pull off something and has people who are.
I think it's just a vague way of saying we looked at it and we really liked it and it vibed with us.
Sure, yeah, and
Yeah.
that can be a thing because that's
Which
kind
is
of,
fine.
That's how
Like, I don't think
that
there's anything
works.
necessarily wrong with that.
Yeah,
Some publishers will have a portfolio and different metrics they look at. For us, it's kind of up in the air. Some people say that's very irresponsible. I say I don't care.
yeah, it's their money.
Yeah.
They can back it however they want to do. But I love that idea of like we look at a thing and we're like, your pitch might not be as polished as what came across the line from somebody else, but there's a feeling we get from you that's like you are really devoted to try to make this a success somehow, or that you're trying to like, I really need to see this to come to light. And it's like, yeah, you want people who are going to be that driven. I would want people to be that driven because if I'm going to hand over the money to them, it's
Well,
like,
yeah, because it's not just about like
I want to keep your dream alive.
the idea, but do you think the person will follow through
Yeah, exactly.
ultimately?
And the other thing they say about this is something that is very positive and will help a lot with your pitch is getting, you know, in terms of like your funding and all this kind of stuff, is getting real numbers and realistic numbers and thinking about stuff like QA, localization, you know, the sort of not fun stuff
Yeah.
that is actually really, really important. And they're like, also, we will not do that for you.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
I mean, there are publishers who will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it is good to know that. Like,
It's good to know that. Yeah. But even if you are getting, I mean, I think it's interesting because like, even if you are getting with a publisher who will do that for you, knowing the kind of money that costs is I think a really important thing for a developer, and you know, especially a small developer, to know, sort of what value the publisher is providing to you in
Right.
that situation.
Exactly. As opposed to being a black box where it's like, we're going to publish your game, so send us your updated builds all the time, and we'll send you back more information as that comes to pass. And it's like, what are you actually doing for me? It's like, don't worry about it, kitten.
just read your contracts.
Okay.
Get somebody
Yay.
else to read them for you as well, maybe a lawyer
Yeah.
of some kind. And if anything's really weird and skewy about it, go and find your dev friends that apparently you have completely made in all of your things, and ask them if that's normal.
Yeah, the dev friends that you made at that global gaming company that I mentioned earlier. Speaking of global gaming companies,
Yeah. So I feel like this might have gotten blown a little out of proportion in terms of how big a deal it is. But so Marathon came out a week or two ago.
At some point, there are people who are
a lot of people in the office here are very excited about it, and I've been enjoying it. Cameron in particular has been playing a bunch of it. I know Graham's playing it a bit.
Yep.
And lots of our friends have been playing it, and I've very much enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But there's been a lot of discourse about, marathons failed or whatever, right? Because people are looking at it's because it came out at the same time as Slay the Spire 2.
Yes.
And people are like, Bungie's this big multinational company, and their game is not doing very well. Well, Slay the Spire 2 has got 100,000 people playing, or whatever.
Yeah. I find it really
comparing
weird
these completely different
to talk
games.
about a game that has no online whatever at all and concurrent players for it. That's still such a weird stat to me.
Yeah.
But anyway, what this story is about that Bungie sent out a message to reviewers,
right,
to go along with it, and the headlines that were floating around was saying that Bungie has told people to delay their reviews because the Steam count is the player count is currently not very high.
Yeah.
And so they want people to delay their reviews.
Are those two actually connected?
Well,
or is it just that those are both two true things that they've put into a headline together, so it sounds like it's connected?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is the actual message that they sent out, apparently. So with the reviews in the embargo stuff.
Right.
They say, Marathon launches worldwide 10 a.m. PST on March 5th. There is no embargo on coverage, impressions, live streams, VODs, or assets. You can publish content as you play the game.
Okay.
However, we ask that you hold your full review and impression until you play Cryo Archive, Marathon's pinnacle endgame zone, and experience that, which will be unlocked in the second half of March. To be clear, this is not a mandate, but a request/suggestion. So they're requesting people to delay their reviews until
they've played the whole
until they played this
out.
extra piece that they're not releasing until the end of March.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which I think is, it's a little weird that they apparently it's not like this is a season 2 comes out because it's only a half a month later. So clearly it was something that they were just not quite ready to release.
Yeah. And the language works here, but it almost feels like what you want to say is we ask that you hold your full review and impressions until you play Cryo Archive, the whole thing about this isn't a mandate but a request suggestion. And then to maybe just reiterate the point where it says, please publish your initial reviews, making it clear that Cryo Archive release, your full review will come later, which in a way is not a bad thing because a lot of video game news companies definitely are always like, oh fuck, it's a slow day and what am I going to publish? It's like they've just told you can only publish half your review now and publish the rest of your review later, and now that's 2 days full of content.
I have seen plenty of places that do an initial impression and then a full review later, or they've published a thing being like, here's some initial thoughts now. We're not publishing a full review and we're not scoring this review until later because the game only came out here or this thing happened or whatever.
Yeah.
And when they're open about it,
yeah.
I'm fine with that. This kind of screams, and I don't think there's anything particularly wrong with their wording here because they're not saying this is a mandate or whatever, but it does kind of scream to me a little bit, don't worry, this anime gets good 3 seasons in.
Yeah, there is that. Yeah, that if you have to play all the way to the thing that comes out the second half of March, then it's
and I know that's
I have
not
to wait
what they're
2
saying.
weeks to get to the point of where I could be doing this.
Yeah.
I know that's
not
what
where
they're.
the game
I know that's not
begins.
what they're saying, but it's kind of what it sounds like.
Well, because it could be. I haven't played Marathon. I have no idea. It could be that the initial bits of Marathon are also actually good, and therefore, it's like, oh well, the anime gets good 3 seasons in, so watch everything. Star Trek Next Generation gets good in the 3rd season, like it's like that kind of thing.
So brutal getting through those first 3.
Right, and it feels to me like if they had said, please, like if they had actually requested, please publish initial reviews of the game, please do not publish a full review until you've played this next part, because we feel that might also influence what you want to say about the game. I think that would have been an interesting way to put it, to be like, we have no problem with like, we want people to talk about it, because let's be honest, all reviews, all impressions, all this kind of stuff is still all part of the hype cycle.
Sure.
You know, and by saying we are doing it in this way, and we would like it if you did it in this way, but we're not going to hold you to it. It's almost like they're saying, well, they're saying what we can and we can't publish. It's like they aren't. They're making requests, and they understand that you publishing a report about what's going on might be good for your site, but it's also good for their game, and they recognize how that is working at multiple purposes.
I think I'd have a problem with it if it said we can't. You're not allowed to post a full review until
for 2 weeks. Yeah.
This time, but because it says we recommend, and this is the thing why, and these things, I'm okay with what they've written here.
Yeah,
I don't think there's anything actually that dastardly about it.
Yeah,
I like this a lot.
To be honest, I didn't. And some folks mentioned in the chat, I didn't realize that this sort of cadence of having a either the game come out or the new season of a game come out, but then have the sort of final raid or whatever not be released for a couple weeks afterwards is actually pretty common.
Yeah.
So to be honest, I didn't realize that is usually how they do these things. So so I can see they're sort of like, we don't want to use up all our juice before we get this. We're hoping that we'll get a push for this other thing,
It's like
rather than people just being like, oh, and there's more now.
I've seen plenty of things about embargoes that are like, and usually you find out about those stipulations through reviews, even because it'll be like, you can do your review, but please don't. A lot of them will say things like, don't talk about story in past this point or whatever, because they're trying to make it so that people don't have spoilers and whatnot. Except,
remember, Persona was the worst for that.
Yeah.
Persona 5 was like, after this date, we will destroy you.
They were like, they were doing that for streamers too.
Yeah. They were like, if you do anything after this date.
Where I think for like an initial review where they want you to talk about the game, but maybe not spoil all the plot points of the game, isn't not necessarily an unfair thing, but it can be hard to, if there's something problematic later in the game that you want to address in your review, that does make it difficult.
And it was also like quite a long time before they actually let people do it later.
So
So streamers had to play it to a certain point and then stop and go on to another game.
You were supposed to also like mark your stream as having spoilers and stuff that didn't make any sense. Honestly, it's not just Persona. It's like a lot of Sega stuff can be really weird about how they do streaming.
So Tempest in a Teapot?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
I mean, I am curious, I think the doom and gloom of like, oh, marathon's failed is probably not,
I think
with all the information.
Yeah.
I think it's probably, it's got a tough go of it, but we'll see how it goes.
I think sticking two facts in your headline that make it look like they're related when they're not is the real problem.
Yeah. Having under 100,000 concurrent players at the moment, it's like, okay, there might have been an expectation within the community that's like 1 million people will play this every day for the rest of their lives because that's what we think is the marathon community, right? If that's what...
I mean, I think they were sort of comparing it to like Destiny and stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I mean, a lot of people are comparing stuff to Destiny because it's Bungie, right?
And there's going to be a lot of goodwill from all the really old farts who played Marathon back in the day. So they're expecting this to be the same thing. It's like, it is not.
I mean, I feel like anybody who was interested in Marathon and saw one screenshot of this would be like, okay, that's not the same thing.
Marathon.
Yeah, like I feel like this is going to be a lot of people's first extraction shooter.
Yeah, that's true.
Which they'll now find out if they like extraction shooters or not, really.
And then they can go play whatever, Tarkov and stuff, too.
They probably won't.
Probably not.
It doesn't seem like, to me, it doesn't seem like that kind of thing where you're like, oh, now I'm going to play these other 6 extraction shooters.
I like leaving places. That's my favorite thing to do.
Yeah. And when I show up to a place, it's like, how the fuck do I get out of here?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of that happens in my day.
Speaking of getting out of places, we're going to have to wrap this stream up pretty fast. Anything left on the docket?
No, there's a couple, nothing interesting or nothing we can need to talk about, I don't think.
Nothing we managed to turn into a story, and therefore,
It's probably not that important.
Yeah, who knows?
I'm sure there's something that was important to you. So go ahead and write it in the comments below.
It's true.
Tell us about all the things we missed, because then at least you got to say it.
Actually, one thing I did want to mention, the
What's that?
one story about Ars Technica did a feature on these 2 arcades are the world's largest arcade.
It was really interesting, yeah.
And it was funny to read because I'm like, oh, this is going to be one of those right at each other's throats. And what it was one arcade a while ago had been hosting a lot of Guinness World Record events. This is, I think, Fun Spot it's a place called Fun Spot in a town called Laconia in Wisconsin, I think, and it's 10,000 people. But it is massive, this Fun Spot place.
Yeah, it's like over 500 or 600 games, like arcade cabinets.
But also like a
Wow.
bunch of other like indoor mini golf and indoor other stuff. It's just
Okay.
like, it's just buildings upon buildings of buildings. And it's because you can do it in the middle of nowhere very cheaply, right? And they hosted the King of Kong thing. They hosted a lot of other Guinness World Record stuff. And as a result, Guinness, because the rep was there, was like, hey, you guys have a lot of stuff here. Have you ever thought about applying for so they did. And they got the Guinness World Record for the world's largest arcade. Except there are places that are larger, and in fact,
Well,
there's,
yeah, because
there's
those
one
things
in
are a scam.
there's one near O'Hare, away from O'Hare International Airport. That's like got it has way more games than Fun Spot does. Called Galloping Ghost.
Yeah, Galloping Ghost.
Yeah,
Apparently part of a complex where everything is named Galloping Ghost.
yeah, because Galloping Ghost Productions and Galloping Ghost Reproductions.
Because they're an actual game company as
Yeah.
well. They're a development company as well. Yeah.
So anyway, the funny thing about it is New Hampshire. Thank you, not Wisconsin. Anyway, so the funny thing though is when they talk to both of the owners, they're like, "Oh, I love Fun Spot."
Yeah.
Like, "Oh, Galloping Ghost is so great." Like they love all arcade owners. Apparently, really love each other because they know how small the community is, and that
Well,
was the
That's
most heartwarming thing about reading the article.
And I think they also have to because arcade cabinets are getting so hard to maintain.
Yeah.
They probably have to rely on each other for
Trading parts.
or sourcing things, being like, oh, where did you get that thing? Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, oh, these guys have like new old stock. You should buy some. It's like, yeah, because a lot of these companies also, this is great, they aren't doing upgrades to LCD monitors, which is kind of the common thing to do if you're taking an arcade game to your home, is that you might be like, the CRT's failing, I'll just buy an LCD monitor and put it in and we'll go from there. But a lot of the enthusiasts are like, they have to be CRTs. They have to be CRTs. And so you have to find people who know how to work on CRTs to restore them and get them back up to, and that's pain. And so I love the fact that these guys are just like, we need to make sure that because trying to find like necks and trying to find like tubes that are the right size, that are like built for the cabinet, because you want to have like, I need to have a 21-inch tube, and it's like, where are you going to find a 21-inch tube these days? And also one that can work with like 31.5 kilohertz, like all this kind of stuff. It's a very weird kind of enthusiast market at this point. And I just love that these guys are like, oh yeah, that world record thing, we don't give a shit about that. We have more than they do, and they know that. And it's like, yeah, we know they have more than we do. And this just happened, and so now we hold it, but it doesn't really mean anything. So,
and it's like, yeah, we don't want to pay for the Guinness guy to come over.
Yeah, why would we do that? We're trying to pay to keep all the machines running.
Talking about Guinness is basically a scam.
Yeah, it is a scam.
You can basically get them to do anything, get a record for whatever you want.
Yep.
Anyway, thanks everybody for joining us on this ChillPoint. If you haven't seen the episode of Checkpoint, you should go check it out on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/LRRVG. It is our video game channel. And you can also become a member of that channel, and you'll get in the credits at the end of the episode. And you can become a subscriber here on Twitch, or a member of other YouTube channels, or go to Patreon and support us there, or buy things at our store.loadingreadyrun.com, or any of the other many ways that you can support us, because you are what makes this whole silly thing happen.
And remember, You're cool and sexy, apparently.
Yes.
That's the. Remember, you're cool and sexy, apparently.
Look, I add in the apparently because I know it's probably messing with some people, and therefore they have an out
Yep.
if they don't want it.
Some stranger you met years ago still remembers you.
Oh, please don't put that in my brain.
All right. We'll talk to you later. Bye.